Welcome to the July 13th, 2021 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please silence your cell phones, and if anyone from the audience would like to comment on an item listed on the agenda, please fill out a blue card located in the back of the room and turn it in to our city clerk. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 5 minutes. Please stand for the pledge. Councilman Garrett, would you lead us in the prayer?
We, the members of the Broussard City Council, beg of thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so that our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and fulfilling also thy holy will on earth and in heaven. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the June 22nd, 2021 budget hearing and the June 22nd, 2021 regular meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I move.
Second. The minutes were supplied in the council's packet. Tina, do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Open for council discussion.
Question?
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large?
Yay.
Motion carries.
Item 3.1, approval of the May 2021 financial report. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Karen, our chief financial officer, is on vacation this week, but she did supply a report. So our most recent tax deposit was 7% higher than the monthly projected sales tax revenue based on our amended budget figures. We are currently ahead of the total amended sales tax revenue by 2%. Also, the city's official American Rescue Plan allocation is $4,697,125. The Louisiana Office of Community Development is in charge of the distribution of these funds and has officially opened the online portal. That portal will be used to collect, review, and maintain required information from local governments regarding the ARP funds. They have requested certain documents, including our fiscal year 2020 budget, and signed assurances from the city. All documents have been submitted and we are awaiting review by the state. We expect the first installment of funds, which is $2,348,500, to be received any day now. Tina, do we have any public comment?
No public comments.
Open for council discussion.
Question?
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large?
Yay.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.1, resolution number 672-21, approving the cooperative endeavor agreement regarding security cameras by and between the City of Broussard and Crime Fighters of Louisiana, LLC. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Our presenter tonight is Chief Vance Olivier. Chief?
Thank you. These cameras are very valuable to us, that he provides the information and under the endeavor. It's Brooks Bernard that's doing it. He has a passion for crime fighting per se. I mean, he has his own business. He don't even go over there anymore. So basically what he's doing, he's supplying all the cameras. The cooperative endeavor says that the only thing that we would do is replace a camera if it would break. Any of the maintenance or everything that's taken care of, or everything's going to be taken care of. He could put as many cameras on the pole as we want. We already have, we're looking at probably 30 different locations within the city. Almost every parish is pretty much doing the same thing. Acadia, Vermilion, and all the surrounding towns as well, Scott. So it's really a valuable tool. You know, the criminal, he always thinks that you're not looking at him where he's at, you know, where he commits the crime, but when he goes to a different location, that's whenever, we pick him up. So we've solved a lot of crimes, and I think it's very important that we continue with the camera system, because I mean, it's only helping us. I mean, it's a great tool that he has. Yeah, and if any of the council, he told me to let anybody know if you ever want to go out there to his camera system, it's pretty impressive. And he actually sits there himself all night long. He works till 7 o'clock in the morning just going through videos for us. So you can do a live feed, but there's too many bandwidths on there that he can't do a live feed, but he could pull the video at any time that you provide him with, whatever you could, with the time frame, he could pull it up and he can show you the video provided for us. And he's constantly has the LPRs, the license plate readers. So he's providing, I think, the ones in the park are free because it's working off of Wi-Fi. He's letting them work off our Wi-Fi. So he's not charging anything. He normally charges about $40 for a SIMS card. And what he does is the Power Pole Slim Code gives it to you for free if it's law enforcement. Entergy, I'm not sure if we have some on those poles. I was trying to find out from Zach and some others. This was before I got here. So you could put 10 cameras on a pole. He'll only charge you $40 for the SIM card. And he takes care of everything. He said you can get out of the agreement at any time. There's nothing. You give him 30 days, you can get out the contract. But I think we probably need to stay with them. I mean, everybody's using it now for the most part. I mean, can't say how much value it is to us right now. Yeah.
Gerald, I believe you've been through the contract and you're comfortable with it.
Yes, I have.
No
Any public comment?
Question?
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay?
at large,
Yay.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
motion carries.
Ordinances for introduction. Thank you, Chief. Ordinance number 21-699, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for the city of Broussard by adding the following maps. Map D-8, portions of Glacier Drive. Map H-7, portions of Bayou Tartu Road. Map H-8, portions of Bayou Tartu Road. Do we have a motion to introduce? So the maps were supplied to the council in the packet. This item has gone through our zoning board. If memory serves, we didn't have any comments on this maps when they came through. So now it is up for council introduction as a new set of zoning maps. Gerald, would you like to comment on this item?
Only that it's been through planning and there were no objections, and it's ready for consideration by the council.
Thank you, Gerald. Tina, do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Open for council discussion?
Question?
District 4,
Yes.
District 5.
Yes.
District 6,
Yay?
at large,
Yay.
District 1. Yes. District 2.
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
motion carries.
5.2, ordinance number 21-700, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances to add sections 38-160 through 38-169 relating to prohibition of public nuisances. Do we have a motion to introduce?
Make a motion.
Our presenter tonight is Mr. Ben Terrio, who serves in a few capacities for the city, but code enforcement is one of those. Welcome, Ben.
How y'all doing, council? So essentially this is it doesn't take the place of anything else, but it's gonna fill some of the gaps. We've run into a few situations where the existing ordinances didn't apply. And, this is gonna give us a little bit broader span that we can actually tackle some of the things that we couldn't do in the past.
Ben, I think some of the things you're referring to is, every once in a while you run into a problem, let's say with immovable vehicles. Sometimes those vehicles do not have VIN numbers. They are only a piece of a vehicle. They can't be identified as a vehicle. Does it fall under the junk ordinance? Does it fall under the immovable vehicle ordinance? This ordinance as a nuisance sort of fills that gap and lets you identify it as a public nuisance and gives you the authority to go in there and have it removed.
Address it, correct. And we run into boats, which doesn't fit anything. We run into excavators, it doesn't fit anything. This is gonna fill all these gaps. We actually went through, me and Mel sat down with Gerald, discussed everything that we have on our plates right now, and everything kind of fits in the gap, you know, it fits in this ordinance, and it's gonna allow us to address all the problems that we have at this time. And that includes immovable half garbage trucks, which we run into, and, you know, everything.
So Ben was instrumental in helping write this ordinance with Gerald to sort of, talk about all the situations where he gets stuck. And the ordinance was written to try to really get him past that point so we get situations where we need to clean things up and we don't have enough teeth. So, you know, I'll leave it there, if you have any questions for Ben.
Ben, you talked earlier, we were talking about the ordinance amendments. We, as far as the penalty phase, we would have to go through district court.
No, not,
We're
so
gonna change-
existing for junk, our existing junk ordinance, we'd have to go to 15 judicial. This is set up differently, and Mr. Gerald can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is gonna go to mayor's court now, if a ticket's issued, and that's gonna ease up a lot of the time that we have to wait.
So we'll put it on our own agenda.
Correct, it'd be on our own timeline as opposed to judicial,
Right, there would be a ticket with a fine.
correct.
So
And that's
like,
all.
you know, it's our general, fines
I
that
think
are
it's
listed in another.
$500 or 30 days.
What I referenced in here was section 1-11 of the existing code for penalties, which is your general penalty provision, which didn't apply. It wasn't clear whether it could be applied to certain types of nuisances in the past, but this gives the authority to police to issue a ticket, and the person to whom it's issued will have to now appear and respond to the claim and address it.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any further council discussion? Tina, do we have public comment?
No public comment. District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large.
Yay.
District 1. Yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 5.3, ordinance number 21-701, an ordinance amending ordinance number 19-595 regarding temporary buildings on commercial property. Do we have a motion to introduce? So the new ordinance was supplied in the packet, and I believe Tina put the most current copy on everyone's desk today before the meeting. Gerald, our city attorney, suggested that we make some changes to our existing ordinance to more clearly identify the definitions of portable buildings. In the building codes, there's some definitions that are pretty broad, HUD, IRC, IBC, and they really sort of target residential construction, commercial construction, but within each one of those codes, there's different types of buildings, all the way down from a portable shed to a purpose-built commercial office building, which we would identify as a modular building. So Gerald is tightening up our ordinance here. If you'd like to give us an explanation, Gerald.
What we were attempting to do actually is address portable buildings, what would be acceptable. The state has an industrialized building act. The state also, the state provisions authorize the state fire marshal to develop rules as to what buildings would be acceptable. Now, I've tried to piggyback some of those permitted buildings and came at it from a different way. What buildings are permitted as the principal building on a commercial property? If you've gone through the permitting process and built a building, obviously that's permitted. If you have a building that's been there before, Broussard adopted its rules and regulations, that's in. You're not gonna change it, that's permitted. But when you wanna put a portable building now on a piece of property, it's going to have to be a building which meets the description of the Industrialized Building Act of the state of Louisiana, which by reference adopts all of the applicable codes, whether it's the general building code for the state, whether it's fire code, things of that sort, are all adopted or made part of the state act by reference, and then by extension, made part of our ordinance. I think what is going to make this workable is in the process, when someone wants to put a portable building as a principal building on a commercial property, they're going to make application to the city of Broussard. City of Broussard will then have an inspector look at the building, make sure it complies with all of the applicable codes before approval is given. And that gives us some uniformity as to what buildings will be allowed. There are some very nice or very well-built, very reliable modular buildings out there. And so we don't want to just scratch off every modular building, but we want to make sure that it meets the minimum requirements, and I think following the state's guidelines on this is good for the city.
So the key points to remember here, or that I just want to highlight, because I think they're important, is that these are primary buildings for business use. So a commercial piece of property, this will be our primary building. Once a primary building is established and someone wants to put a shed, that's fine. But putting a shed and using it as your primary building is what we're trying to avoid here, tighten up our ordinance that we already have in place.
And one other comment I think is worthwhile to be made. There is an exception provision, and ultimately the council will have some say-so. If there is a particular situation that the council says, listen, we need to give a variance for a short period of time, some period of time, whatever the council believes, the mechanics are in there. This is not going to be something that is strictly one way or the other. There is some mechanics for exceptions.
So a couple of other points is, in this particular ordinance, the way it's written, just as Gerald described, the modular building that meets these requirements would come in, use as a primary building, and it would exist for eternity as the office space or the primary building for this business. We've done some research, and some communities do it a little differently. We stayed with this format because it is the closest to the intent of the previous ordinance that we had that the council adopted. Some communities require a moratorium on those buildings. You may move a building in, use it for a 2-year period, a 3-year period, to establish yourself while you're building a new building. There's some situations I could think of right now, but I don't want to highlight a particular business. But it would allow a business to get started while they're going to build. Some communities do not allow modular buildings at all, period, none. But this, the way we're writing it now seems to be in line with the council's original intent. But those are just a few points to consider between this is only introduction and we'll adopt at a future meeting. But I think Gerald has described it well. Thank you, Gerald.
So we're not putting a time limit on it?
In this
In
ordinance that's in front of you now, there is not a time limit on it.
Okay.
It is whatever the tolerance of the council is. If a time limit is what the council wishes, then that's what we will put in. But we are introducing it the way we understood the previous ordinance. Tina, do you have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, still open for council discussion.
Question.
District 6? At large?
Yay.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinances for adoption. Item 6.1, ordinance number 21-698. A third supplemental ordinance authorizing the issuance and delivery of $13,670,000 of taxable recreational facilities sales tax revenue refunding bonds, Series 2021 of the City of Broussard, State of Louisiana, in accordance with the terms of the general bond ordinance adopted on November 13th, 2012. prescribing the form, fixing the details, and providing for the payment of principal and of the interest on such bonds, and providing for other matters in connection therewithin. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I move.
Second.
So tonight, we have with us Mr. Lee Bressler with Raymond James and Mr. David Medlin with Governmental Consultings Inc. They were both instrumental in helping the city achieve over $1 million in savings on our 2012 recreational bond refunding. Welcome, gentlemen. Would you like to address the council? I believe our total savings as of today, which will be finalized tomorrow, is $1.4 million on this refinancing. Welcome.
My name is David Medlin. I work with the firm of Government Consultants. We're financial advisors to governments across the state of Louisiana and Mississippi. We worked on this transaction with Mr. Lee Bressler, who is the underwriter, and he is the one that went out across the United States finding investors that were willing to and wanting to invest in your bonds in your city. These are called refunding bonds, and we like to refer to them as something very similar to refinancing your house. What you're looking to do is change the terms of the loan and lower the interest rate. We began working on this transaction early in 2020. The numbers were prepared on several occasions to determine the rates and the savings that could be achieved. In February of 2020, the savings were about $1,180,000. But before we could get the transaction moving, the savings declined severely. They rose and fell several times between about $500,000 and $800,000. And these were not determined to be a sufficient amount of savings by the city, and we agreed to that. We priced the bonds on June the 22nd, and the savings is to the city $1,412,000 over 21 years. And that's an average of about $70,000 a year in savings to the city. The interest rate was 2.7%. And this $70,000 per year will be savings to the city and will remain in the city and won't be paid to out-of-state investors. It will stay within your community. In our opinion, this is fair pricing. We see a lot of bond issues, work on a lot of issues, and based on the characteristics of the transaction, we think it's very fair. The timing is also favorable because the Federal Reserve is talking about raising interest rates and again might not be able to do this type of transaction when the rates go up. So based on that, we recommend that you accept the offer of Raymond James to purchase these bonds.
I prepared a presentation, which I can go through or don't need to go through if you all would like.
I believe the council each
Yes.
got a copy of your
Yeah.
presentation at the
Okay.
start of the meeting.
If y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer them or give any more details.
Tina, do we have any public discussion?
No public comment.
Open for council discussion? I'll say thank you, gentlemen, for helping us with this. I mean, our savings is significant and it's important to the city to make these kind of decisions. But I'll let the council ask any questions they might have.
Question?
At large?
Yay.
District 1? Yes. District 2?
Thank you.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming to our meeting tonight. Meeting adjourned. Drive carefully.